Welcome. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family, and we're so delighted that you've welcomed us into your home, and we certainly would love to hear from you. So send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. And in your very busy life, you can always listen to the show. Just go out to EWTN Podcast Central at ewtn.com/radio/podcasts, or wherever in the world you happen to listen to your podcast. Go there. Now, today we're welcoming back the Archbishop of Vilnius, Lithuania, Gintaras Grušas, who will be connecting with us remotely from Vilnius. His Excellency was born in Washington, D.C., and he grew up in a Lithuanian family. And prior to entering the seminary, he finished his studies in mathematics and computer science at UCLA, and then he worked at IBM. And after a year of pre-theology studies in Steubenville, Ohio, he continued theology studies in Rome. He has a doctorate in canon law, and after serving as a priest in Lithuania, he was appointed the military ordinary for Lithuania by Pope Benedict in 2010, and Archbishop of Vilnius by Pope Francis in 2013. 5 years ago, he was elected president of the Council of the Bishops' Conferences of Europe. And today he's going to be speaking with us about his call to the priesthood and his personal encounter with divine mercy. We want you to go out to the website, wacomvilnius.org, wacomvilnius.org, and he's also going to be sharing with us about the World Congress and the World Apostolic Congress that's happening in the City of Mercy. So you want to hear all that he has to say.
Well, okay, so he's going to be coming in just a few minutes.
Yes.
And just stay with us. This whole reality of God's divine mercy being poured out at this juncture in history is just so relevant and needed at this time in our history. May it be poured out upon you. May you consider going to the Congress there with the Archbishop and establish your own home and city as a place of mercy. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Please don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, our guest today is His Excellency Archbishop Gintaras Grušas. Now, he's going to tell us a little bit first about the Sixth World Apostolic Congress on Mercy that's happening there in Vilnius in Lithuania, and he's inviting all of us to come. How gracious of him. And it's going to happen on June 7th through the 12th. And then he's going to tell us his personal story and how and why he became a priest and ended up in Vilnius, Lithuania. So, Archbishop, welcome back to At Home with Jim and Joy, and we certainly want to hear from you, so tell our family all that you know.
Well, thank you again for having me. Again, as you stated, I'm very pleased to invite everybody to come to Vilnius. The Sixth World Apostolic Congress of Mercy is going to be here in the city where St. Faustina received the revelations from Jesus, where the original picture that was painted according to what she saw hangs, and is just a place of mercy where we hope that people will come, experience the mercy and the faith of all the people gathered, and then really be able to take it back with them. I am greatly devoted that these things are not our own doing. It is God that is working in our lives and moving us through our lives. And if we open up our hearts and let him move them, he will put us where we need to be. And I think my own life is a witness of that, my whole vocation story. And I think if people will just open up and listen to the invitation, not of the Archbishop of Vilnius. I think that Jesus himself is inviting you to come here and to see his picture and to pray and ask for his graces here. So I'm hoping that it will be that flood of graces that is described by St. Faustina for Divine Mercy Sunday, and we'll have such a flood of graces for the Divine Mercy Congress here, June 7th to 12th, from Corpus Christi to the Feast of the Sacred Heart. So it should be a great event.
That's great. Yeah, I keep getting that word that the Lord shared. Blessed are you to hear what you're hearing and your eyes to see what you're seeing. And that was for the apostles at that time. But also there's this ongoing truth, because they were covered with God's divine grace and mercy. And that made all divine mercy. And that made all the difference in their lives. Hanging out with him for 3 years, so many that were with him at the critical time. And then even after that time of his resurrection, they were still not believing. They still didn't get it. And finally, he shows his hands and his side and says, Shalom, peace be with you. Those who deserve probably the opposite of mercy are receiving God's mercy and grace. And that empowers them to be builders of mercy of nations and of the church. And what I hear you saying is, this is for now. This is for right now. God's desire is to pour out his mercy, divine mercy on you from his very heart. The water and the blood to be upon you. Make an appeal. Come to Vilnius. Come here, and let's be filled, covered with the blood of Christ and with this water of righteousness. And then go back to your cities, go back to your homes, and build cities and homes of mercy. Now is the time. Your ears are blessed to hear this, and your eyes are blessed to see it, what the Lord's going to do. Let's talk about you now and your own journey. How did a nice guy like you from Washington, D.C. wind up in Vilnius? I don't even know if you were a layman at that time. You became a priest, you became an archbishop, and now you're here appealing to the world to come here. Like, what? I just figured you were from there, but what's that all about? How did that take place? What's going on?
I was working at IBM, and over the years I was discerning a vocation. It was going in various directions. I had been engaged at one point to be married, and what finally brought me in, I was up for a promotion at IBM and was listing the things that I really wanted to do with my life, and I started listing just a wide variety of things, everything from public speaking to management to leadership to counseling to law to the list was just very, very long. So it just hit me that night that those were all things the priest does. And so I left very suddenly, and still had 9 months before I could enter pre-theology. And in that time, I did make a trip to Medjugorje, and that had much to do with my vocation as well.
Okay.
But looking back, the experience of God guiding me in the mystery of mercy is very almost shocking. I arrived, I didn't know anything about divine mercy when I started that journey. Never encountered the Chaplet of Mercy. And it was at Steubenville when I was there in my pre-theology that they prayed the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. And I started to learn it. And our first retreat in the pre-theology was given by a priest who had actually been one of the major translators of the diary into English, Father George Kosicki. And he gave us the retreat on divine mercy, and this was something that I was just developing. And then my bishop, I was actually entering to serve the Lithuanians in the United States, the diaspora, because Lithuania wasn't free when I entered. And while I was in that year of pre-theology, Lithuania declared its independence. And then I was in Rome to do my philosophy, my theology. And 2 years there, there was a new bishop appointed to Vilnius, and it was somebody I knew from the diaspora. And I called him up and I said, can I come and do my summer pastoral assignment in Vilnius? And he said, come on up. And instead of putting me into a parish, he put me into the Curia, because I had some previous experiences in management and languages. And 3 weeks into it, he said, after lunch, let's go for a walk. He said, I'd like you to take a year off of studies and come here and help. And I said, fine. And he said, I'd like to ordain you a deacon. And I said, great. And he said, I'd like you to organize the papal visit. So my first job, mission to the church as a deacon, was to organize John Paul II's visit to Lithuania in 1993 in a country I had not lived in before. So that was a challenge, but a great one in the sense that it was the trip where John Paul II first encountered the original image of divine mercy. He had received all the information about it from Blessed Michael Sopoćko, who had brought the revelations to Faustina to him, and he began the case of her beatification. But even then, he had never seen the original image live. So when he came to Vilnius, he not only saw the image of divine mercy and was able to pray before it, he also visited Our Lady, the Mother of Mercy, in the Gates of Dawn, and was able to pray there. He had a great devotion to her as well. It is said that he had had his suketa, his cardinal cap, brought to the chapel of the Mother of Mercy after his election. So this was just the development as things went on. And I was then a student in Rome in 2000 when Saint Faustina was canonized. And I had the great privilege of being at the canonization. And as a priest of Vilnius, I had the experience of standing in St. Peter's Square when the Holy Father, after the canonization, at the midday prayer, announced not only the Feast of Mercy, but he announced a mandate for all the cities where Faustina lived, a special mandate to proclaim the message of mercy, to be apostles of mercy. So very proud, being a priest of that diocese, to hear the Pope say, okay, here's your saint, here's your mission for the whole, but the Lord has a great sense of humor as well, because I had some great seats for that, for that canonization. I was up on the Sagrado, up by the altar, that high part. And I got back to my college and people were staring at me and I couldn't figure out why. Well, it turns out I'm very fair-skinned and I'd been in the sun for about 3.5 hours. So when I got there and I was on the Sagrado, so the sun was coming in from this side. So this side of my face was red and this side of my face was white.
Oh,
so I got an imprint of divine mercies.
The rays on your face. Oh, wow. That is so
the
wonderful.
Lord has a great sense of humor. But this was all being directed towards my own future vocation, I guess, my own ministry here in Vilnius as the Archbishop. The devotion continued to grow, where the original image had been in the Church of the Holy Spirit, which was a Polish language church, and they only had masses in Polish. My predecessor had the shrine, which was a little shrine. You've seen it on the Sunday, Divine Sunday Masses. He had that constructed, but the image had not been transferred there yet. So it was a little bit of a scandal, especially for the Polish community, that it got moved to this outside of the Polish church into the shrine. But that was to open it up for the international pilgrims, for the Lithuanians to get to know it, because they hadn't known it that much yet.
Incredibly.
So it's been a growing devotion over these years, really, very much. And you kind of look back and see how God takes you from place to place to place.
Oh yeah, like he was just so writing that whole story of where you were going to be at a particular point in time and who you were going to know. I mean, and that's the beauty of the journey, right? You could step back even now and think, God, you had your hand on me, and I didn't know where I was going, but you were leading me and guiding me, because he's the God of your history, which is so beautiful.
And it really is just, hanging on for the ride. If you let God do his thing and hang on, he develops the history for you in a way that you could not ever imagine, or more than you can even desire. It really is miraculous, and you don't know what's coming up. But that's the sign, the words under the picture. Jesus, I trust in you. And that is really what we are trying to develop in our lives. It's our calling to trust in him to guide you so that you can live the life that he has planned for you. And it really is something that we need to work towards in each of our lives. That's every vocation.
Archbishop, we're going to take a break at this point and bring you back to share more about this journey. You see, when I was reading your bio, it said IBM, and I said he must have been a part of a I Believe in Mercy group. and then he went to Vilnius. It can't be IBM. But anyway, so I'm learning a lot here today. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. We're finishing our conversation with Archbishop Gintaras Grušas. And let me see the website there. You can go to WACOMVILNIUS.org for more information on this upcoming Congress that's going to be taking place June 7th through the 12th, and be there in the City of Mercy with Archbishop. Archbishop, we just have several minutes here, but I just want to ask you a question. In my life, I've had the opportunity to do a number of things that are so wonderful and great, and just like you said, being led along. And lots of times when I get there, it's like the Lord's saying to me, it's such a privilege to do this, but he says to me anyway, this is my way of saving you. Like I do EWTN, we meet all these people, and it's not like, well, Jim and Joy, this is because Jim and Joy know how to do this kind of thing, and we really don't. But it's kind of, for me, probably not Joy, but it's like, Jim, you're doing this. You're going to hear from people all over the world, and I'm just going to be feeding you such good stuff, because this is my way of bringing you all the way home. I'm just wondering with you, because your journey was so supernatural, you didn't say, this is what I'm going to do to get to Vilnius, and I'm going to become the Archbishop. I mean, you didn't know hardly anything, but the Lord's been leading you along. What has this done to you? Is the Lord saying to you, this is my way to bring you all the way home, or this is my way to develop virtues in you? What is it doing in your life, even now? Divine Mercy.
I think it really has helped me to understand and try to live more that Jesus, I trust in you, that's written at the bottom of the picture. Because it's sort of like you learn step by step to trust him once you see what he's doing and you realize it's not your own doing. It's Jesus who has got this plan for you. And that really is every vocation. It's Jesus who has a plan and asks us to just follow what he's planned out. I love the saying that have you fulfilled your vocation? And the answer is, if you're still breathing and alive, no, he's still got something planned for you. So you just keep going, and you pace it. You try to respond, and hopefully we're getting better at it. It's got ups and downs. Even the life of a priest or a bishop, we all have our challenges, but that trusting that Jesus is bringing you through, and that beautiful image of his mercy really strengthens us on the way. And if we can accept his mercy, so that understanding of mercy has really been growing in Vilnius through these years. We've got a beautiful procession of light, which is the opposite of the way of the cross. On the eve of Divine Mercy Sunday, we go with lights through the city, reading the 7 Gospels of Easter week and meditating on them. The house where Faustina received their convent has been restored and is a pilgrim site. So it really is a beautiful place, and I'd like to invite all your viewers, listeners, to really open your hearts and let Jesus invite you to come to Vilnius. First of all, for the Congress, it's going to be a great event. And also come to Vilnius when you can. It is a blessed place, which you will find that Jesus really does touch people when they come. Just like the people who go to the many other shrines where Marian apparitions have taken place, or who go to the Holy Land or Rome. Vilnius has really got that, have been touched by God, and calls us by name to come and experience his mercy.
Archbishop, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your own testimony regarding divine mercy. Thank you for inviting people to this holy city of mercy. And thank you for saying to the people, ask for mercy, and the Lord will pour that out upon you. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Great success with the Congress. And to all of you there, you're an important part of this EWTN family. You're never alone, and you're always at home with Jim and Joy. Bye now.